Hello, I'm Willie from the Ozarks, and we're ready for our August the 4th lesson in A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students, year 2022, lesson 216, which is a review of lesson 196. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. It can be but myself I crucify. It can be but myself I crucify. All that I do unto myself. If I attack, I suffer. But if I forgive, salvation will be given me. It can be but myself I crucify. It can be but myself I bless. In other words, when we bless another person, we're blessing ourselves. When we condemn another person, we condemn ourselves. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I wanted to point out a little idea that I want you to keep in mind. We should be doing this, but in our review for today, he said that when you're tempted, hasten to proclaim your freedom from temptation as you say, "This thought I do not want. I choose instead. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. It can be but myself I crucify. It can be but myself I crucify. All that I do unto myself. If I attack, I suffer, but if I forgive, salvation will be given me. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me." Okay, so I said the whole lesson. You might not have to say near that much, but it wouldn't hurt if he says, when you are tempted, hasten to proclaim your freedom from temptation as you say, "This thought I do not want. I choose instead." And then repeat the idea for the day and let it take the place of what you thought. Beyond such special application of each day's idea, we will add but few formal expressions for specific thoughts to aid your practicing. Instead, we give these times of quiet to the teacher who instructs in quiet, speaks of peace, and gives our thoughts whatever meaning they may have. Of course, I'm reading to you out of the review section 6. That was paragraph 9 and 10, basically. I'm just wanting to bring our minute. We're supposed to do our at least 15-minute morning and evening review of the lesson, and then our hourly reminders, as well as as much as possible in between the hourly reminder. Tell yourself often today, "I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. It can be but myself I crucify. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me." So that's kind of where I just want to really encourage you to use these ideas if your mind wanders into thoughts of not love, condemnation, what he called idle thoughts. Okay? All right, so let's keep that in mind. Let's go take a look in our text reading. And we're ready for chapter 24, Specialness and Separation, section 4, the forgiveness of specialness. Well, that was yesterday's. That was section 3. We read that whole section yesterday. Today it's specialness and salvation. Specialness and salvation. While you're turning there, let me tell you about another fava bean from the Baker's Creek Heirloom seeds, and it's the sweet Lorraine fava, an exceptional feat in natural plant breeding. This small-seeded fava is extremely cold hardy and well adapted to being grown as a winter cover crop, but boasts the flavor and size of an eating fava, a perfect combination, especially for the home gardener. Now we can have our cover crops and eat them too. Have your cake and eat it too. You can have your cover crops and eat them too. The flavor is much less tannic than cover crop favas and tastes like a chickpea when eaten fresh. And that's the sweet Lorraine Fava. All right. Okay, let's go take a look now in our specialness and salvation. Specialness is a lack of trust in anyone except yourself. Wow. Specialness is a lack of trust in anyone except yourself. Faith is invested in yourself alone. Everything else becomes your enemy, feared and attacked, deadly and dangerous, hated and worthy only of destruction. Whatever gentleness it offers is but deception, but its hate is real. In danger of destruction it must kill, and you are drawn to it to kill it first. And such is guilt's attraction. Here is death enthroned as Savior, crucifixion is now redemption, and salvation can only mean destruction of the world, except yourself. Turn the page. Next paragraph, 35. What could the purpose of the body be but specialness? And it is this that makes it frail and helpless in its own defense. It was conceived to make you frail and helpless. The goal of separation is its curse. Yet bodies have no goal. Purpose is of the mind, and minds can change as they desire. What they are and all their attributes they cannot change. But what they hold as purpose can be changed, and the body states must shift accordingly. Of itself the body can do nothing. See it as means to hurt, and it is hurt. See it as means to heal, and it is healed. Now there's our lesson for today. In that idea, the body can do nothing of itself. See it as means to hurt, and it is hurt. See it as means to heal, and it is healed. It can be but myself I crucify. You can also be a healer. It's whatever you want to send out, that's what you're going to get back. You can but hurt yourself. This has been oft repeated, but is difficult to grasp as yet. You can but hurt yourself. This has been oft repeated, but is difficult to grasp as yet. To minds intent on specialness, it is impossible. Yet to those who wish to heal and not attack, it is quite obvious. The purpose of attack is in the mind, and its effects are felt but where it is. Nor is mind limited. So must it be that harmful purpose hurts the mind as one. Let's read that sentence again. Nor is mind limited. So must it be that harmful purpose hurts the mind as one. Nothing could make less sense to specialness. Nothing could make more sense to miracles. For miracles are merely change of purpose, from hurt to healing. So miracles are change of purpose, from attack or hurt to healing, when your purpose is to heal instead of to defend yourself and to attack. This shift in purpose does endanger specialness, and that word endangers in quote because it does away with specialness. This shift in purpose does endanger specialness, but only in the sense that all illusions are, in quotes, threatened by the truth. They will not stand before it, yet what comfort has ever been in them that you would keep the gift your Father asks of him and give it there instead? Given to him, the universe is yours. Offered to them, no gifts can be returned. What you have given specialness has left you bankrupt, and your treasure house barren and empty with an open door, inviting everything that would disturb your peace to enter and destroy. Long ago we said, consider not the means by which salvation is attained, nor how to reach it. Long ago we said, consider not the means by which salvation is attained, nor how to reach it. You don't have to understand how you're going to reach this joy and peace. Just know that it comes by the practice of forgiveness. All the inner, how God sets that all up is beyond our comprehension, but not beyond our attainment. Long ago we said, consider not the means by which salvation is attained, nor how to reach it, but do consider, and consider well, whether it is your wish that you might see your brother sinless. But do consider, and consider well, whether it is your wish that you might see your brother sinless. To specialness the answer must be no. A sinless brother is its enemy, while sin, if it were possible, would be its friend. Your brother's sins would justify itself and give it meaning that the truth denies. All that is real proclaims his sinlessness. All that is false proclaims his sin as real. If he is sinful, then is your reality not real, but just a dream of specialness, which lasts an instant, crumbling into dust. The last paragraph, 39. Do not defend the senseless dream in which God is bereft of what he loves, and you remain beyond salvation. Only this is certain in this shifting world which has no meaning in reality. When peace is not with you entirely, and when you suffer pain of any kind, you have beheld some sin within your brother, and have rejoiced at what you thought was there. Wow, we don't want to rejoice at sin, do we? Your specialness seems safe because of it. And thus you saved what you appointed to be your Savior, and crucified the one whom God has given you instead. So are you bound with him, for you are one. And so is specialness his enemy, and yours as well. Isn't that something? Let's read that last paragraph again. Do not defend this senseless dream in which God is bereft of what he loves, and you remain beyond salvation. Only this is certain in this shifting world which has no meaning in reality. When peace is not with you entirely, and when you suffer pain of any kind, you have beheld some sin within your brother, and have rejoiced at what you thought was there. Let's read that again. Only this is certain in this shifting world which has no meaning in reality. And what is certain in this shifting world? When peace is not with you entirely. When peace is not with you entirely. And when you suffer pain of any kind, you have beheld some sin within your brother, and have rejoiced at what you thought was there. Your specialness seems safe because of it, and thus you saved what you appointed to be your Savior, and crucified the one whom God has given you instead. So are you bound with him, for you are one, and so is separation his enemy, and yours as well. If I read it real quick, we would have time to look at our lesson, where it came from, lesson 196. It can be but myself I crucify. Maybe I won't read the whole thing, but let's look a little of it, because it goes so well with our lesson. Of course, the text reading, talking about how that we're all one, and what we do to our brother, we're doing to ourselves. Therefore, we can only, what has he say it in our lesson today? It can be but myself I crucify. When this is firmly understood and kept in full awareness, you will not attempt to harm yourself, nor make your body slave to vengeance. You will not attack yourself, and you will realize that to attack another is but to attack yourself. You will be free of the insane belief that to attack a brother saves yourself. and you will understand His safety is your own, and in His healing you are healed. Perhaps at first you will not understand how mercy, limitless and with all things held in its sure protection, can be found in the idea we practice for today. It may in fact appear to be a sign that punishment can never be escaped, because the ego, under what it sees as threat, is quick to cite the truth to save its lies. Yet must it fail to understand the truth it uses thus. But you can learn to see these foolish applications and deny the meaning they appear to have. Thus do you also teach your mind that you are not an ego, for the ways in which the ego would distort the truth will not deceive you longer. You will not believe you are a body to be crucified, and you will see within today's idea the light of resurrection, looking past all thoughts of crucifixion and of death to thoughts of liberation and of life. Today's idea is one step we take in leading us from bondage to the state of perfect freedom. Let us take this step today that we may quickly go the way salvation shows us, taking every step in its appointed sequence as the mind relinquishes its burdens one by one. It is not time we need for this, it is but willingness. And what would seem to need 1,000 years can easily be done in just one instant by the grace of God. The dreary, hopeless thought that you can make attacks on others and escape yourself has nailed you to the cross. Perhaps it seemed to be salvation, but it merely stood for the belief the fear of God is real. And what is that but hell? Who could believe his father is his deadly enemy, separate from him and waiting to destroy his life and blot him from the universe without the fear of hell upon his heart? Such is the form of madness you believe. If you accept the fearful thought, you can attack another and be free yourself. Until this form is changed, there is no hope. Until you see that this at least must be entirely impossible, how could there be escape? The fear of God is real to anyone who thinks this thought is true, and he will not perceive its foolishness or even see that it is there, so that it would be possible to question it. To question it at all, its form must first be changed, at least as much as will permit fear of retaliation to abate and the responsibility to return to some extent to you. From there you can at least consider if you want to go along this painful path. Until this shift has been accomplished, you cannot perceive that it is but your thoughts that bring you fear, and your deliverance depends on you. Our next step will be easy if you take this one today. From there we go ahead quite rapidly. For once you understand it is impossible that you can be hurt except by your own thoughts, the fear of God must disappear. Wow, catch that. Our next steps will be easy if you take this one today. From there, we go ahead quite rapidly. For once you understand it is impossible that you be hurt except by your own thoughts, the fear of God must disappear. You do not now believe that fear is caused without, and God, whom you had thought to banish, can be welcomed back within the holy mind he never left. Salvation song can certainly be heard in the idea we practice for today. If it can but be you crucify, you did not hurt the world and need not fear its vengeance and pursuit. Nor need you hide in terror from the deadly fear of God projection hides behind. The thing you dread the most is your salvation. You are strong, and it is strength you want, and you are free and glad of freedom. You have sought to be both weak and bound because you feared your strength and freedom, yet salvation lies in them. There is an instant in which terror seems to grip your mind so wholly that escape appears quite hopeless. When you realize once and for all that it is you fear, the mind perceives itself as split, and this has been concealed while you believed attack could be directed outward and returned from outside to within. It seemed to be an enemy outside you had to fear, and thus a God outside yourself became your mortal enemy, the source of fear. Now, for an instant, is a murderer perceived within you, eager for your death, intent on plotting punishment for you until the time when it can kill at last. Yet in this instant is the time as well in which salvation comes, for fear of God has disappeared, and you can call on Him to save you from illusions in His love, calling Him Father and yourself His Son. Pray that the instant may be soon, today. Step back from fear and make advance to love. There is no thought of God that does not go with you to help you reach that instant and go beyond it quickly, surely, and forever. When the fear of God is gone, there is no obstacle that still remain between you and the holy peace of God. How kind and merciful is the idea we practice. Give it welcome, as you should, for it is your release. It is indeed but you your mind can try to crucify, yet your redemption too will come from you. So this idea that we're practicing today, I went ahead and read that whole lesson. I don't usually do that, but it just there's so much there, and I thought a quick reading of it might be beneficial. I'd encourage you to go back and read it a little slower and thoughtfully. But at any rate, be sure to at least do your lesson. That's the lesson today is to, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. It can be but myself I crucify. Or if you want to think of it in the positive light, it's the same thing. It can be but myself I bless. We're all in this together. All that I do unto myself. If I attack, I suffer. But if I forgive, salvation will be given me. Anything that speaks of pain, you want to offer forgiveness, which is let go and let God. Realize it's an illusion, that you're cherishing a sin. Don't do that. Don't cherish unholiness in yourself or anyone. It can be but myself I crucify. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Until tomorrow, tell yourself often, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. It can be but myself I crucify. All that I do unto myself. If I attack, I suffer. But if I forgive, salvation will be given me. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me.